Breaking. New studies show Big Pharma has been lying about antidepressants for years. God, that makes me depressed. Oh, where's my Lexapro? Lexapro! So I know this show is called The Most Censored News, and the fact that massive new studies show antidepressants don't do nearly what we were told they do is on the cover of Newsweek. So that doesn't exactly count as the most censored news, but I'll get to the censored part in a minute. In 2019, 1 in 8 Americans, 43 million in all, were taking a selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor, SSRI. And those numbers have likely risen among a public ridden with COVID-induced anxiety. In fact, over the past few years, so many people were demanding Zoloft that the FDA warned there would be a shortage. Doc, I need some extra Zoloft. The voices in my head are getting pretty bummed out. Also, just send some extra for my cat. She's been super bummed. She almost threw herself off the flower pot today. And she did leave a suicide note. Yeah, it's pretty bad. I mean, it wasn't a note. It was a turd. But suicide turds are pretty serious. But think about that. 1 out of 8 Americans are on antidepressants. And assuming almost all of those people are 18 or older, 43 million is actually 1 in every 6 American adults. 1 in 6, which is fucking insane. I mean, it doesn't really surprise me, though, if you grew up like most Americans born after 1970, latchkey kids, hardly ever see your parents, raised by game shows and bad video games. I feel like Mario was my uncle. Sometimes it was even worse if your parents gave a crap. Then you were raised on Christian video games.
Do you ever worry that they're playing too much Nintendo?
Oh, not anymore. See, Matt has Bible adventures. They're actually learning Bible stories while they're playing Nintendo.
Quick, get that Bible quote before you run out of power.
Bible Adventures features 3 games in 1 cartridge: Noah's Ark, Save Baby Moses, and David and Goliath.
Oh, and it was a bit of a scam, too, because Save Baby Moses was actually just Mortal Kombat with a baby's head on Raiden's body. Now, you might be wondering how they found out antidepressants barely do anything. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration published the most comprehensive analysis to date. The study, which examined 73,388 patients diagnosed with major depressive disorder, suggested that the active ingredients in 10 of the most popularly prescribed antidepressant medications made a meaningful difference in only 15% of the patients, almost always in those patients suffering from the most severe depression. So if you had or have severe depression and antidepressants have helped you, then don't worry. You very well might be part of that 15%. But for the rest of people, they might be enjoying that sweet, sweet placebo effect, which means you could have saved a shit ton of money by just buying Tic Tacs and putting them in a prescription bottle, or hiring a friend to wear a lab coat and just force unmarked pills down your throat like we do with dogs. But the study clearly debunks the basis upon which pharmaceutical companies marketed drugs like Prozac, Lexapro, and Zoloft to consumers for decades. Namely, the idea that depression is associated with deficits in the concentrations or activity of the brain chemical serotonin. Depression is not caused by a chemical imbalance of serotonin. Essentially, Big Pharma just invented that idea out of the blue to sell pills. Because if people believe their problem is simply chemical and can be solved with a pill, then they will likely take that pill, often for years. However, if they were told, your problem is that your father died recently and you have a lot of stress in your life and your hamster is a dick and your girlfriend loves scented candles more than she loves you, and that's why you're feeling depressed, then patients would be way less likely to believe a pill is the answer. Really? I just take this pill and it'll make my girlfriend curb her enthusiasm for candles that smell like cinnamon buns? She thinks they're so special! But yeah, studies have shown that depression is more often caused by, prepare to contain your shock, life events. When the drugs work, they do so by superimposing an abnormal drug state over other effects. In SSRIs, the small advantages seen can be attributed to emotional numbing that reduces the intensity of all feelings. So basically, they just numb everything, which also might include your depression. Isn't there another medication that numbs, like, What's it called? Starts with an A. Alcohol. I mean, if you get the right kind of alcohol for you, sure, some people have a couple of whiskey drinks and end up choking out their kid's birthday party clown. But you get what I meant. All right, so now here's the censored part of the story. First of all, the reason these lies about antidepressants have persisted for so long and will continue to persist is because Big Pharma is a parasitic death cult. They just don't put that on the welcome mat at their front door. They will do anything to grab up billions of more dollars. Lying to you about the way your brain works is the least of their crimes. That's just an average Tuesday for them. Lying to you about your prostate is Wednesday. Lying to you about restless leg syndrome is Thursday. If we had a system in which profit was not at the center of so-called health, then the only goal of pharmaceutical companies would be to help people, not make sure that they take home loads of pills every day. Secondly, the market economy is at the center of most of those life events that are causing depression and misery. Bankruptcy, eviction, going into the military to pay for college, working at a job you hate, fear for your safety or fear for your ability to make a living and take care of your kids. All this anguish has its beginning in the profit over all else economy. This is how we have millions of depressed folks in the richest country in the world. Meanwhile, there's countries like Bhutan where everybody makes roughly $10 in a passion fruit per week, and they're happy as shit. They're loving it. And no, I don't know if passion fruit is indigenous to Bhutan. I just thought it sounded funny, okay? Do you have to Wikipedia every fucking punchline? Besides the fact the US and New Zealand are the only countries that even allow direct-to-consumer prescription drug ads. So Big Pharma can be right in your faces going, are you wondering if antidepressants are right for you? Well, if you have to ask that question, then the answer is yes. Or better yet, have you ever felt sad or bummed out or had any other human emotions? Then antidepressants are right for you. Just smooth over those annoying parts of the human experience and replace them with a nice, thick coating of apathy. Sure, a lot of your life will still suck, but you'll hardly notice. Long story short, it's not that no antidepressant has ever helped anyone. And if you get help from them, then I think that's great. It's that Big Pharma has completely lied about how much antidepressants work and how they work. And Big Pharma will keep lying because they make billions of dollars from it. That's it for now. There are 2 episodes of the Most Censored News that come out every week. We are completely independent, so please support us on Patreon and keep fighting.